I hit everything with this when I get started. Let me see if I can get this right. Damn near running out of the CBD lotion. But let me see if I can get this right. Let me see. It went something like this. Electric spanking of war babies. 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 All right, I'm ready to do my thing. I'm ready to get into it, man. Wanted to play a little bit tonight. Hey, sometimes these mugs just don't want to play. And that's all right. Oh, going out of order. Sorry, this vibration's first. That will remove there. Sending blue argonite love to the world. Because it's embedded in this big bowl. Getting them imprints be shooting in. But this is welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your super funky host, Big Pontiac. I'm also the holder of the Sacred Infinite ball game created by the Hero Twins, and I am embedded in the Sacred Ball Creation ball field. I'm also that galactic daddy-o, one and only daddy-o, welcoming all the chocolate mountaineers on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the outreaches is now. This is the time of year we see Sirius in our southern sky. If they want to come, the Syrians want to come down here and party with me, I'm with it. They can come down here and get it too. So tonight's special beer again is Andox Kloster Double Beck Dunkel. It says super premium Bavarian lager. Look at that rich goodness. Look at that rich goodness. Don't you wish you were me right now? Don't you wish you were me having this goodness? Look at this goodness. Don't you wish you were me right now, baby? What's happening, King Kane? Thank you for joining. B. Brown. I'm going to get into it. I don't care who watches when they watch. That Timberwolves game was some straight up BS. And you know, I didn't bet. Oh, this is old, man. Thank you. It's got this 666 kind of bullshit, but it's one of my older jerseys. They sacrificed this young brother a long time ago. And when I bought it, he had been passed for, he had been passed for a minute when I bought it. And I bought this in, and I'd have to look up when Jay Brown passed. But man, this was years later because he wasn't terribly younger than me. He was like in my playing age range days because he played with Reggie White. So, yeah. But, yes, I've had it for a while. I've had this for a while. Thanks. I got the black crusty on, but it's last year hat. That's I ain't tripping off that. I like the Eagles. I go up there, they'll treat me royally. I just walk up here like this. They ain't throwing nothing at me. Like I told my Viking friends when they went up there, don't wear that Viking shit. And they had them on the news, people throwing cans at them because remember, you park somewhere else. You don't normally park next to the stadium. Them days is gone. Not in the high schools, you can do that, but colleges, ain't no college where you just park right there. Notre Dame is basically in a neighborhood. And so they have to cut off all these blocks of, where people are pay the people in the house to come park their car for the games. Because there's houses like going on to campus. There's houses, as you lead into campus. But you can't park in the street during the game. But you can park and pay them people to park there then. Oh, I hit the bong, so I'm sorry. Yukon Wolf. Evolve XL Plus, so smoke them if you want them for sure. I had mine. I had the bong, and the bong just looks seriously goofy. Be straight up weird to put on camera. Dudes be doing that shit. I don't get it. It is too much involved to do all that, to put that on camera. Them rigs. But yeah, tonight's game was just straight trash. I mean, who goes 21 zip? That's what we saw in the championship game a few weeks ago. 21 zip. We saw like almost a 30 to 2 point thing in the championship game, but we saw a 21 to zip. And matter of fact, it said, okay, yeah, this ain't quite right what I put. The Timberwolves didn't even get a shot attempt until, let me see, they went 0-7. This was wrong. Yeah, they went 0-7. Okay, this is how it was. In the first, was it 12? Yeah, so up to so quarters are 12. So up to the 750 some mark, they hadn't even taken a field goal. They went to the free throw line, but they hadn't even shot the ball. 7 minutes out of the fourth quarter, they hadn't even shot the ball. And this is what threw me off. So at the 5 minute mark, I put 550 here, but I couldn't have been right. At 550, they had missed 7 shots. They didn't make a shot till after 5 minutes. After 5 minutes. So you don't think that. And then Thompson doing the same old stupid stuff again. Somebody put some shit on Facebook that I was able to like, and people was like agreeing with me. Like he sticks his leg out unnecessarily on a 3. You look at his natural 3 with natural 3, your legs are straight, you don't flare them out. They look for that. So, but I was watching Ja, and Ja. I mean, let's put this out there. The Timberwolves are match them too well. The Timberwolves match them too well. Ja is kind of a deficit a little bit on defense because he's small. But what we see with Ja, I'm gonna tell y'all who Ja is. I was looking at his game. Ja is Steve Francis. That's who Ja's game is. He is a bigger, he's just a taller, but not a thicker Steve Francis. That's who he is. He got a game almost just like Steve Francis. We saw this before with Steve Francis. Steve Francis was a little thicker. I don't think he was quite as tall. Because it seemed like Steve Francis is about tall as me. So I don't think I'm trying to think. Saw him in the club with the Timberwolves. Yeah, he wasn't with the Timberwolves, but he was in after a game. Don't think Steve Francis was bigger than me. But I'm looking at Giles' game, and I was trying to explain to my son. He looked like Steve Francis. That's who he remind me of. Hey, Liquid Fire, how you doing? Oh, it's. Thank you. I'll say this, and I've said this a lot, and I just want people to truly understand this. Sometimes, like these insights come with horrors. I mean, it straight up comes with horror, and the horror comes with, I guess, seeing everything, and this thing like really tries to break you. And I'm not even talking about the forces against me. I'm saying it's this stuff is thrown at you that it ain't great, but you have to kind of go through this to see, and the thing becomes funny after a while because you start seeing patterns, and you see the patterns that is kind of doing it again, and every time you see it start doing it, it impacts you differently, but yet you're looking at the two things because you see this horror thing that you went through before is replaying itself. You've seen it many times. And so you can't write a story as each event comes. You can't write more than what it is. And I've learned that. But thank you. I'm only human. What's happening, Valerie? Thank you for joining. And you, brother PJ, thank you for joining. And so, son's had to go to the hospital. Well, he's been a little sick lately, so we had to take care of him and trying to see. He's here. It ain't like he's here. We put the hoop up earlier. We put my daughter's hoop up, which I think was good to get him out the house. But we put her hoop up. We put almost all of it up. We didn't put the rim on. That's all that's left. Just put the rim on. And it's supposed to rain for the next 3 or 4 days. So this weekend's going to be iffy. Definitely going to rain tomorrow. So I'll probably do a show, the Positive Dad Hour, because them days is hell. It's almost May. They only going to school a few more weeks. I might just do a little afternoon thing too, and people have been kind of reaching out to me. So as I said before, trying to get it all together. Hey, I met Jerome Brown here in Dayton with Keith Byers. And my mom grew up together. Oh yeah, because I know Byers ain't. Yeah, because Byers went to Ohio State, right? Yeah. Byers went to Ohio State. Yeah, bet. Yeah, because Byers ain't that much younger than me at all. Now, Brown is younger than me, but not much. As I said, they both play with Reggie, and Reggie and me the same age. Matter of fact, if I would have known they would have had where you could work and still go to college, I would have went to Tennessee and worked to play football because it only took me one football season in the spring, and I'd have been playing. So I wish I'd have known. Work study, they called it. I wish I'd have known about work study. And I didn't know that it was grants available well, we got turned down for some grants because my parents did make decent money. So few of the grants we got turned down, but it was other ones I didn't even know about. But I would have went to Tennessee and played with Reggie White for sure. I really wish if I'd have known that, I'd like, okay, I could just got to work and do classes. It'll probably help my aim. But that's dope, that's dope. Hey Lorenzo, how you doing? Yeah, he went to Ohio State. Yeah. Man, the Woody Hayes games. I saw when Woody Hayes fired on the dude. I was watching the game. Yeah, Schleister, wasn't his name? Schleister, the dude Gamble. Didn't he play at Ohio State too? Yeah, that dude. I've been watching Ohio State, Michigan games though for shoot black and white TV when we didn't even have a color TV. We was watching football. Reggie White is from my mom's hometown. Oh, bad. Yeah, you know Reggie White played in the USFL. Reggie White played for I want to say the Alabama team. No. Reggie White played for the Tennessee team, the Nashville team. I don't think they redid that team. I want to say Reggie White played in Nashville too. Not just because he played for college. I thought, man, maybe he played for the Alabama team. I'm not sure. Do you remember when Reggie White played for the Showboats? Memphis. Yeah, Showboats. B. Brown. That's what I was just thinking about. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about. I saw the starlight tonight. Strange, but I think it's just a light reflection from the dome. You know, they saying that people looking up there and that's all they seeing. Wow, that is so cool. Yeah, the Memphis Showboat. Yeah, the Showboats. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, I'm sitting there trying to think of, and you had it up here. Yeah, he played. Yeah, he played for USFL. Another dude, Gary Clark. There's a bunch of, you know, and I was bouncing around them camps trying to make them squads, because the Michigan team won it the first year, and then they folded the next year, and they merged with the team in Oakland, the Invaders. So Anthony, what was his name? Later played for the Vikings. Anthony Brown? No, Anthony Date? No, what was his name? Anthony Carter. Yeah, AC. Anthony Carter played for the Michigan team too. And then Bobby Hebert later played for the New Orleans. So yeah, a bunch of dudes. Like one of my teammates, you know, I probably told this story. One of my teammates played for the Philadelphia team, and he ended up lacerating one of his kidneys. And I remember seeing him when, like, he came back, and he had just came back because he had been playing, and he had came back, and he was over like my one of my best friend's house was my neighbor too, and so, you know, they said he was coming back, so I went over there and saw him, and he was like, he had got out the hospital. I mean, he had been out the hospital not very long, and I mean, I'd never seen a fresh, you know. I never seen that fresh where they bust your chest, and he had that scar because he had his shirt off. I don't know if he took a shower. I don't know. He had came back in the room, and yeah, he was and he was young. I mean, when he had that, he was probably 25. He was 25, and he had his chest cracked open. Had that, you know, where they had to do his kidneys. I don't know if it was removed, but he had lacerated his kidneys playing football. Whew. Yeah, Keith went to Ohio. Yeah, he went to Ohio. Hey, D, how you doing? Your appreciation, your spiritual style. Hey, when with your channel, I can come here and feel better about this matrix, not subscribing to the fear programs and being at peace with what may come. You know, it is so much that. I mean, it really is. It is so much you got to go with the flow of life. And this is what's hard to explain to people. And I think it's even a little, it takes away a little bit, like the way they put it in the Matrix. Like, you know the spoon ain't real. So you know the spoon is real, and knowing that, you can never bend it. So you can't look at it and treat it. You can't make it bend like that, knowing that this is a solid piece. That is not what you concentrate on. I say a better example is you know the wall is there, but if you run it, you'll smack into the wall. So you know it's not there. Excuse me for misspeaking. You know the wall's not there, but if you run into the wall, you will smack into it is our reality. But the way that you have to implement this is despite knowing that wall really ain't there, but it's in your way. And because it is in your way, there's other ways to move around. And if you do have to move through it, but there are other ways of moving around the wall. And so, yeah. And you just have to take things as they come and not as you project they could be. Now, you have to, I'll say this, there's a greater awareness of care. I think that's fair. There's a greater awareness of care following things. So that's understandable too. That's part of it. And so, yeah, thank you. Hey, Brother Siova, thank you so much for joining, brother. How you been doing? My uncle Thomas and Reggie White were friends. They preached in Tennessee around the same time, gaining a friendship. Bet. Okay. And he was up here at Conspiracy University. Well, I don't know. I can't say how this thing likes me, don't like me. It don't really matter. Because this thing is so funny. I'll do just some plain work and they'll say a lot of people watched it, which is so hard, amazing that it's all the same. It's no really big, greater leap and bound that I've done different. So I'll just try to bring it as I can. Try to understand this net show. Well, what about the Timberwolves tonight? I mean, that was just ridiculous of ridiculous. I mean, that's the only way. So just like we saw in the college game, so the only way you can really show a comeback is one team just is going to turn it over 10 times in a row and the other team can score 20-some points. I mean, that's the same script we saw in the college game for the big comeback. I mean, it made no sense. Again, as I said, the Timberwolves did not shoot a ball until the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter, other than foul shots. I think they shot 1 or 2 foul shots between them, but that was it. No shots. And then going into the 5-something mark, they had missed 7. So they went really into late in the quarter and barely got any shots off. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was saying. You know, when I broke down Ja, he's Steve Francis. He a taller Steve Francis. Steve Francis, little guy, had the same kind of vertical, probably a better mid-range game, I would say. I would say Francis was closer to CJ, but went to the hoop like Ja go to the hoop. I would say would be the difference is Francis could do that mid-range game like CJ, but Francis had the same kind of go at everybody. But the problem is, you know, you take a beating doing that too. And we're already seeing that with him. And they've been physical with him. They put that in the script a little bit too. But it's just he doesn't match up with any of them big guards. You ever saw this season, his games where he got his shot blocked so much? He got his shot blocked at a crucial time in the game. He did, matter of fact, he broke up one of the runs. He went into the hoop and they blocked this stuff. Vanderbilt, I think. And it broke one of their runs. But by then it was like a 25-3 run. I think what did I put here? 21-0, 24-2. 24-2. That is they lighted the Memphis-Chicago finals up, maybe. I didn't bet on the Timberwolves, but I bet on the Warriors. The Warriors look good tonight. And Poe is putting it on them. Facts was dog and barely. Yeah, Francis, yeah. But Francis even in Houston used to give a bunch of people the business. I mean, I mean, if there was anybody that was around when Iverson was around that almost was same size, more hops, it was definitely Francis. He probably had more hops than even Iverson had. Probably basically same side dude. But that's his game, you know, and then eventually it's hard. You gotta monitor your game. You can't keep taking all them hits. Oh yeah. They looking good so far. Middleton and Booker out both important players for the two teams in the finals. Boston and Brooklyn have an easy route. Well, I'll say Golden State is playing teams. They doing that ball without Steph hitting them magnificent long shots. They are beating teams because they're letting Poole. And that's why, if you guys saw the video with Poole winking his eye on them making a call, it was just business. It was that Globetrotter stuff. Because they don't think those games aren't ran just like the Globetrotters do it. It's just bad calls, missed shots on purpose. It was a free throw that I should have made I don't know if anybody caught this in the Timberwolves game, but the big dude, now maybe his name wasn't Clark, but the center that was playing Towns, that had his hair braided straight down like in the back, that dude shot a free throw, and he hit that shit shouldn't have never went in. He hit the front of the rim, and the ball rolled over and went in. I don't know if anybody caught that. I was mad that I didn't make a video of that, but he did. He shot the brick of a light shot, and it caught that front rim, and it rolled in. I was like, man, yeah, Poole is hooping. Poole cooking the fuck out of Denver. He'll probably get shut down next series. Oh shit, he's putting that work in on him. NBA corny with this. I like Memphis, but damn. Yeah, that's Brandon Clark. So it is Clark. So it's two Clarks on that team, because 24 I thought was Clark too. Ain't 24's name? Booker hitting that shot and then fist bumping the toddler. The dad was right on the cue for that script. That's everything is normally they be setting that stuff up. So yeah. There you go. Oh my goodness. Oh, see, but that stuff you was doing with dude was with let me tell you, that stuff you was doing with dude was doing his rhetoric. Oh my goodness. It was like you was being his Flavor Flav hype man, or what was no, the better one, the best hype man ever was Too Big MC. Hammer's hype man. Too Big MC was the best hype man ever. I know Flavor became more popular, but Too Big MC was the badass hype man. And you was getting it. He's like, come on, let's hear some more. Oh, that was great commentary. I love that. All Warriors need is Wiggins to become mid-range god and play defense. It's over. Wiggins be playing pretty decent defense. He stays with them, and people forget he got arms like 7 foot. He only about 6'6", maybe 6'7", but his arms, he got them 7 foot arms. And they playing, and Green only 6'6", and Green is checking. They running through him. What is it? Tuesday? What did he say the next game is? Sunday. I think they play again Sunday. Sunday they going to rest, and then they gonna let Steph rest. They gonna let them rest, get some rest, because some of them banged up. But I mean, look at the score. What? 27, 27, 26. And I think the other two was all the other three was in double figures. So Dylan Brooks. Okay. PJ say, okay, I misheard. Okay. Tatum is also a baller. I like how the Celtics play. Yeah, I've always liked that. Oh, that goofy ass Frank James. Oh my goodness. You was getting him. I love that commentary. Oh, that was so good. Of all the things I've watched, that was just utterly good. That's why I called in that night. I was like, hey, because it was so good the way you was doing it and presented it. It was so good. So, yeah, hats up to you. Definitely. Oh, I've always liked Tatum. I like Tatum at Duke. He's a hard matchup for his size. I mean, he plays like if Magic would have always been forward, that's Tatum. If you imagine Magic staying at forward, that's Tatum. Tatum and Magic about the same size. Magic might be a little bit bigger because Magic's 6'9". Magic's a big guy. Magic was a big young guy. Oh, but yeah, that Timberwolves game was terrible tonight. I mean, that's why I be saying it's a product. How do you keep giving that product? That way, that game-winning shot by Joe Dumine was indication of what could prevent preview of who could win this your championship. I know Lobo showed that and show how they helped him. They want to be like Dirk and do the one leg back kind of thing. And I'll say his shot his shot looked better than Ghana's. That stuff Ghana's does. It's like seeing Barkley try to go. I mean, you can't get rid of that. When you have that much hitch. Now, what Lonzo Ball did, Lonzo Ball, when he was younger, he had that little transition where I knew cats that shot that kind of, they would almost have to shoot sideways because it came from being young, and as they got stronger, they always had that kind of sideway release. I knew cats like that. But so Lonzo really just had to do this instead of, inheriting that. And it comes from being weak and getting stronger. But even when you get stronger, it's easier for you to do that. Like Jamal Wilkes always cocked it way back here. And that's, again, when he would cock it back here, it was because he wasn't strong enough, But as you become stronger, it's just part of naturally doing it. He cock it way back here. That's why even Big O and George McGinnis, one hand pretty much how, the dude who taught. The first dude that played in the game that shot what we call a jump shot. This kind of release. That's how he shot it. And no one else had really done it. It was hook shots, was jump shots. You watch 40s basketball, everybody's hooking from all over. Hook shots was jump shot. Oh, Durant missing shots on purpose. Yeah, you can see. You can see when they miss shots on purpose. You can see. And sometimes they just let them go. They let them go. They let them go. And the most of the time when they let them go, you see when they miss a string of shots. And as I said, I'll never say dudes can't shoot, but if you really watch how it is, dudes don't shoot as great as they show. My thing is, I don't care how much more people train, one fact that is going to remain throughout the ages. Dudes who shoot, they shoot all the time. So to say that a person that shot 20 years ago doesn't or didn't train as well, dudes who shoot always train to shoot. You work on that 1,000 shots, whatever. That part ain't gonna never change. And so you can't tell me all of a sudden, because of the other things other than shooting, that everyone can participate in to get in better health. It ain't changing the way you shoot. It ain't changing the way you shoot. I knew a older dude, played semi-pro basketball. Every game I ever saw him play, he was drunk. He couldn't play without getting drunk. But dude could play still, win and all that, but he had to involve alcohol in his game. Dudes could play. Rasheed Wallace had an awkward jump shot. I would say from out deep, yeah. He didn't. His problem was this. He had a very high, and like not cocking back, but he had such a high release. He like really, because he had long arms, he had such a high release from, like if you looked at the way he shot a layup, he was so tall at 6'10", 6'11", that, he didn't really have to really extend. He just had to extend it enough to get it over people. But what happens to that kind of shooter is with him, he still had to be up here even when nobody's guarding him and he's deep. And because of this really high kind of release shooting so deep, because how can I describe it? Okay, so we see Giannis and his hitch is in the way he brings it all up. He has just a funny hitch is the way he brings it up. But the way Wallace shot, Wallace just really was fundamentally just getting the ball high, and he releasing like from being, so not so much of all of this, it was like he really got it up high quick. And because of that, it was so much arms, because again, his close-in game was just getting over everybody. So when he shot deep, it didn't help him. The high shot didn't help him. He couldn't adjust it. Some people can adjust when they shoot deeper. He still shot from up here. And I know I was trying to explain it to make it make sense of why he wasn't successful. But yeah, he had such a high release that it would be no way no way he could be successful. Also, Joel's shot was payback to what Kawhi did to him 2 years ago. I would say winning the title would be more to payback. Durant throwing the game like Mahomes. Well, of course, he's done this for a lot. Shooters shoot. Yeah, oh, definitely. Shooters can shoot. And they ain't gonna never go away. I mean, now you hear all these entertainers using the terms downtown. That ain't been no term by itself. When people the work that what made downtown famous was downtown Freddie Brown, and y'all got to look up where he played college. I used to know, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. But downtown, that was Freddie Brown's name that won a championship with Seattle, with Gus Williams and Dennis Johnson. Downtown Freddie Brown. That's where it came from, because he was one of the ones back in the day with just games be tight, and they almost used him like Vinnie Johnson was used for Detroit. They bring Fred in, and Fred would light up 10, make 5, 6 straight baskets. And I mean, he deep, but shaking off people, shooting them deep shake, because they would start checking Fred. Fred across the court, they tried to check him. Playing real well, real D back then. But I mean, his range, but just the ability to score 5 or 6 baskets. That's why they call Vinnie Johnson the microwave. Vinnie gonna give you, but I would say even Fred was more deadly even than Vinnie Johnson. Fred would come in, and then when Fred would catch up or give him a nice little lead, Lenny Wilkins was putting Fred back on the bench, because Fred was gonna shoot damn near every time. And they had Gus Johnson, and Gus Johnson could break it. That was a good, decent team, fun team to watch. Put some respect on Anthony Mason. Anthony Mason. Chauncey Billups had the one arm release too. Yeah, he had a kind of extended drop. Yeah. But that's how that's how I would shoot close in shots. I practiced from McGinnis, and I ain't have big hands. George McGinnis had hands like double of mine, so he had maybe even bigger hands than Dr. J or Connie August. George McGinnis was so sweet with it, because Oscar would go up and then drop the one hand. Like, he would fully go up, and then he would just drop this one, and so he was releasing with that one. So he wouldn't really go up like this. When he was fully extended, this was dropped, and it was just like this. But he did it so smoothly, because I think what he ended up seeing is not having the big George Gervin hands. Sometimes when you bring it up with, like, you're a one-hand shooter, it's easy to knock out your hands. Where McGinnis' hands were just so big, so you had to, like, protect it to a point. So that's how Oscar got that. Well, you would have to protect it to a point, and then, you would drop it like that if you watch Oscar shot. But George McGinnis, he would just be like dribbling through them, and then just could stop on a dime with one hand. I mean, a big dude, 6'8", that just drives through everybody and just stop with one hand. And if he was close enough to punch it, he would punch it. If not, he's watch his old pictures. He is just by himself with one hand over everybody, hooping. They won, 3 championships in the ABA? People don't think them dudes couldn't play. Now, were they fixed? Probably. But dudes could play. They used to let them play. That was how, letting them play. See, people don't understand is you let pickup ball go, and that's how the ABA started. They was making people pay to see a type of pickup ball. Not the plays. It was like, that's what made it catch on. It was a pickup ball. They took these dudes from off the streets. It was cut by the NBA in these parks, in Europe, in the CBA, and they let them dudes play. And it was a different game. It was a free-flowing game. If Toilet really caught on, they just let them hoop. It was like 7, 8, 10 teams. 10, you got to still hoop 80 games. So you think he ain't going to get better? And you getting checks. The guy that I saw had the most awkward, ugliest, Sean Marion. Yeah. Push shot. He had like oh my goodness, almost like a 2-hand set shot kind of release. That kind of thing. But that's how a set shot was. A set shot was kind of not really underhand, but yeah, kind of. But some dudes like almost like threw it underhand from far out. I mean, watch the hooks though. Like I say, Dr. J had the best move where he goes under the basket. I really thought that was the best move ever, but I saw a dude do that in the like early 50s, late 40s. Shorter dude. He went from one side of the basket. This one dude did exactly what Dr. J did. He floated from one side of the basket. He went out of bounds, like under the basket, and turned around. This dude did it without having the big hands. He turned around. He stayed in the air after traveling that far. When he jumped from one side of the lane to the other behind the basket, turned around and shot it and banked it off. And this dude was like probably 5'8", but he did that same move that Dr. J did with the bigger hands, where Dr. J had to go up and under. I mean, this dude turned, he was at the basket. You know, it wasn't like he was deeper than Dr. J. Like when he turned, the basket was right there, but he got off a shot like that. He had to spin it in. So that dude shot was just as cool as Dr. J. Rasheed Lewis had a little hitch, but that thing was water. Yeah, but his shot was more of a classic jump shooter shot. His shot was more of a classic jump shooter shot. Yeah. Oh, Rasheed Lewis. Okay, I was thinking about Reggie Lewis at first. Rasheed Lewis. Yeah. Well, I think he had a lot of the same problem. Taller guy that had the, I don't know, he didn't adjust. Yeah, same kind of thing. He didn't make the adjustment as being taller. He just didn't make the adjustment in his outside shot. Yeah, I would say, yeah, his was, well, about the same kind of awkward. But yeah, now I think about it. Still a taller guy, yeah. And then it was like that game where they beat LeBron. They had Orlando beat LeBron when Howard was there. And Howard was the defensive player of the year at his peak. Yeah, that team sucks. Them dudes hitting them threes, and then they go in the final, they don't hit any threes. All them dudes is hitting threes, and then they go in the finals, they can't hit any threes. That was some BS. But yeah, I remember him. I know a dude who could shoot just like Marion. Easiest three-point shot to block. Oh, yeah. Oh, and like I was saying about even one-hand shooters, I knew a dude I went to high school with. He came out of Grand Rapids. He shot with one hand like that. Very easy to block. Very easy to block. I mean, he had like this dude was taller than me. Again, I'm like 6 foot in high school. I probably grew up another half inch when I went to college, an inch at the most. But like this dude didn't have any vertical, and he was probably a little chubbier than me, so he probably weighed like 185, at probably 6'3". But he'd drop his hand too soon for a one-hand shooter. And the first 3 times we played, so we were just playing some fights somewhere at the college. Even before it is like first 3 times he went up against me, I just like blocked all his shit. And this is in like we going back and forth, because it was like I was messing with him a little bit playing 21. I was like, okay, this is how you play. Then when the game started, we was just going back and forth. I shut it down like 3 times in a row. I blocked his shot easy and went down, dunked it, or easy layup. And he was like, damn. And we was only in 10th grade then. We was only in 10th grade. I put it on his ass. My man AC Kane. That's why, like when I was watching the girls play with my daughter, my daughter was one of the first ones to realize you shoot it up. You don't shoot it right into their hands. You know, they had other girls that would shoot it. They never adjusted. My daughter figured it out. She was like, wait a minute. I'll just shoot it up over everybody, and I won't get my shot blocked. What about P. Stolovich? Paja Stavovic's release. I'm a cheat because I got pictures of him. I got pictures of him. Now, really, his was more, he was really like more like this. So as he brought it out, he brought it here. You know, he really brought it further than most cats do. Like me, I'm here. Some cats, he was one of them cats that, like Terry Furlow. I would say him and Terry Furlow release was very similar, where them cats brought it out a little further. You know, if you can see what I'm saying, like I'm straight up here. He had a release. Terry Furlow's a perfect example. They would bring it out a little further in front of their face. And I'm cheating because I know I know how he shot, because I'm cheating a little bit, because I got a picture somewhere of him in one of my books. So he was more like really more here, but pushed out here further. And Terry Furlow, look Terry Furlow up. Very sad. And it's sad, like in the Magic TV show, they don't show him going to Michigan State playing one-on-one when Magic was in high school and Terry Furlow was playing at Michigan State. That's sad they didn't show that relationship. I mean, because Terry Furlow was crazy brother from Flint. My cousin played against him in the championship, I think in 70 in high school. And Terry Furlow went to Michigan State. His high school coach ended up coaching in Michigan. Frieder was his name. But sadly, Terry Furlow, they say in Cleveland, ran his car into a viaduct, the bridge supports, killed himself. That's the story they tell. But yeah. Paja was more here. Bill Cartwright. Oh my goodness, yeah. But Bill Cartwright, like I was saying, what I was saying about the other big fellas, same thing. Highest peak over everybody and release. So that's how he would do it, be over everybody. But really super, like hold it up there too long. Bill Cartwright was a dude that's like, shoot it already. Why are you holding your arms up for so long? And really would hold it up there. But again, a 7-footer, and he just would always, and then just the slowest release, but over everybody. But a slow release. He went to San Francisco too. Hey, what's happening the Most High? He meant Rasheed Lewis. Yeah, Rasheed Lewis. Yeah, Rasheed Lewis. Yep. He shot the ball right at your hand. Oh, definitely. Frieder. Yeah, Bill Frieder. Yep, Frieder. Yep, Bill Frieder. You have it already. Thank you, Valerie. Yeah, I've been around basketball for a long time. We went to the first high school championship between Hackett and River Rouge. And this is the sadness. If you understand this, if you try to understand the whole culture I'm trying to give you right now, is River Rouge one time had the biggest plant in the world. And then later Chrysler built a plant almost just as big. They call it Chrysler City. But River Rouge was a Ford plant, and that a lot of brothers working at that big old plant. And from 1957 or 58 until like 68, 69, River Rouge put boys in state every year, brothers. Almost a 10-year run. And I only tell that story because when Kalamazoo Hackett, my high school coaches, his first year at the school, he had one of my friends named Amos Jones. Amos was one of the first younger high school dudes that would play with me. He would take an interest and just shoot with me and stuff. But Amos played with them, and Amos took them to the finals. But it was like Amos and Bobby Collington for the Kalamazoo team. The River Rouge had 5 Amoses and Bobby. It was like everybody. Even though Dirk Bundle played with him too. But them the rest of their crew couldn't beat them Rouge boys. Or young men. But that was the first game I went to, and that had to be 67 season. Shoot, my friend Amos was high school All-American that year. Ray Allen had the best looking jump shot in the game. Yeah, picture perfect. Actually, that's how you would teach it. It's the perfect where he's the perfect example. If you try to show a child how to shoot at your highest jump, but the same perfect timing and repeat it. That's what he was one of the best of, repeating it. Now Reggie Miller, again, because Reggie was one to bump and give fouls, which I hated about his game. So he developed kind of all kind of shots. But Ray Allen was more, because again, Ray Allen was a dude that would poke on you to 6'7". Running with him, running with everybody, pushing the. He was Jesus Shuttlesworth. He could hoop. People forget that Ray Allen was poking on people when in the league. But he developed a jump shot as he saw the game swing. He was one of the guys that put in the work. And that's the difference. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't shoot, it's no way that game develops. It's no way. I think Charles Barkley ended up learning that. He never was a 3-point shooter, but he eventually hit him that the game changes, and you just, as you get older, you can't still just try to take everybody to the hoop. You still have the ability. That's what you keep. You still keep the ability to take everybody to the hoop, but you develop other part of your games that might be easier. That's what you learn. It's like you don't have to just strong a person to the hoop. You develop your game enough where the game is easy, so you take what's open. If a person is waiting for you to drive, then I'm just shooting in your face. If you coming up on me, then I'm going by you. So I mean, you develop your game to how the game flows. That's to me why Bud and playing ball was just so natural. It just really went with the natural flow. I mean, I just remember my friend came back from California. We smoking this just gold weed, some of that Acapulco he had brought from California between games. And we won for like an hour, 2 hours. But it's just the game would become so in rhythm. That's why you would see that across America, brothers smoking weed, playing ball, because it's really one of the few things that is so in rhythm with the sport. Now, football's so different. I mean, you rarely would be able to smoke a joint and even practice. By the time you started really playing, it just, it was different. But hooping, you just smoke some, then go hoop. And it really helps with just going with the flow, not forcing it. Well, thank you, Valerie. Reggie was doing the dirty stuff. Exactly. Very quick release. Well, Ray was a machine. Yeah, well, it's to be able to stop on a dime and just, get the, like I was saying, the other dudes going too high or being out too far, or like Sean Meriden, pushing it, but just the perfect, you get that and you come up quick, and that's hard to stop. I learned my handlers from Ray Allen when he dribbled the ball through his legs and he got game. Oh, not Booger? Not Booger? Ray Allen and not Booger? You gonna mention she got game? You say you learned your handles from Ray Allen and not Booger? Come on, dog. Booger had better handles than Ray. They only show Booger in the beginning, though. They don't show him in the whole movie. Booger had better handles, way better handles than Ray. I learned my handles from Ray Allen. I got a strain called Cheetah Piss. I'll try this weekend. Oh, okay. I love smoking reef and playing ball. Oh, it's so together. Thank you, Conspiracy. That is so kind of you, brother. That is so kind of you. I do appreciate it. Oh, yeah, smoking and playing ball, it just goes together. Oh, okay. I don't know about this Cheetah Piss. And, I'm all about it. You got something that's going to get me closer to that cat kind of mind. I might have to be looking this up. Because up here, they got it all. I live near the reservation, so that's all I got to say. There's studios out at the reservation. If I want to go record some music on some studio shit, it's some people we know that live on the reservation got that shit. They got that shit. Straight studio. I mean, studio professional shit. Cheap it up and go up in there. When I first smoked before hooping for the first time, I hit this young boy. Mean in and out. I didn't even think about it. Just was in the motion. Yeah, I mean, it just comes natural. It comes natural. Oh, thank you so kindly, Barbara. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I have played and hit through moves on dudes. As I was saying, when my friend came from California, one of my old favorite stories, and I've told this many times. Ray Pete, this was Ray Pete's Super Bowl. And I'm going to tell the story again because it's one of my favorite stories. But the first play of the game, Amos threw me the ball expecting the ball back because he would post on somebody and they'd throw it back and Amos would work. I went up against Ray Pete and he really thought he was going to beat my shot. And so I went up regular, nonchalant. I got that good buzz. But as I went up and he was going to block my shot if I would have stayed this way. And I just put it out like this. And he looked like, whoa. He looked like I grew another arm. When I put the ball out here like this, he looked like I grew because all his focus was right here. And he had to, it was like he was coming down and I was still in the air and he had to look at the ball out here and he wasn't reaching out there. He was reaching over here. And I just flicked it in like and dunking on people. I mean, dunking on men. I was used to dunk on men. Ernest Pettis, I told that story. He wanted to fight me. This is a dude, I was like 17. He was like 23, 24. And I caught a tip and boomed on him. And then when I landed, I kind of landed on his back because I went over him and everybody and just dunked it in. And this was, I don't even know if I had turned 18 yet. It was the summer of me going to college. I don't even know I had turned 18. So I was 17 or 18. But he was at least 24. And he wanted to fight me. Me and Sean jumped on him. Oh, definitely. It's all appreciated. No, Booger played with the And1 guys at first. That's who he had first played. Oh, but Booger played with the up in the Ruckers too. Booger played in the Rucker League. I don't think they was related. Ray Allen is from the West, I want to say. I don't think Ray Allen was from New York. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Maybe I don't think they was related. Maybe I don't think so, though. But Booger played up in the Rucker, and I want to say the early when AM1 first started, not when the professor and all them later. I think when they first started, Booger was part of them. Like Skip to My Lou, those earlier. And even I want to say that Booger even played with AM1 before Skip to My Lou played with him. So Booger, when they first started, Booger played there because he had some outstanding handles. That's why it ain't really nothing new. I just studied like that's when I did a critical study from Louis Dampier, and Louis Dampier played all 10 seasons with the ABA. So all 10 seasons with a 3-point shot. Now, this is more than likely without any help of the system. Without any help of the system going from the beginning of his career to the end of his career. And surprisingly, his best season of shooting, damn near 50%, was his last season. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, they're used to it, shooting threes in junior high. They're used to shooting it in high school, in college. They're built different. I think comparing everybody else to Louis Dampier from a non-contaminated system, you see from 10 years, you get a clean 10-year look of pro ball. Not high school, not college. You get a clean 10-year picture of pro ball and 3-point shots without it being manipulated. So you can't tell me these dudes just all of a sudden is shooting 60-some%, or even shooting the game as a team would shoot 70% as a team. It just don't happen like that. I mean, it just doesn't. Yeah, Ray from Cali. Matter of fact, he's from Air Force Base. He's on. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking Ray Allen won from New York. Yeah, Booger had handles, quick handles, but he played rucker ball. I think that's more what he was known for, is playing rucker ball. But I don't know. I never thought the New York Cats was the best Cats hooping. I mean, I played up in New York, not just down at the Rucker. I played all through New York, D.C. My mother used to live in Rock Creek Park, or Silver Springs, doing it in the park, doing it after dark. Oh yeah, Rock Creek Park. Oh yeah, after dark. Y'all remember that one? Doing it in the park, doing it at Rock Creek Park, where you go in there and be concerts and be speakers in the trees and shit. But that's in Silver Springs. So I've hooped everywhere on the East Coast. Yeah, and I was a storm. Ray could be a super soldier. That's funny. That's funny. He could be. So that's how I look at it. That's how I really look at it, and how I grade it. Before the manipulation, and I just look at that system. And so when I see, it's like now, I'm reading this book Interference, and they talking about betting, and there's some stuff out of there I'm going to definitely share about football betting that still applies today. So I'm gonna put that out there. But his thing is, how organized crime benefits from it. And see, this is the thing today. It ain't organized crime who benefiting from it. The NFL has told you that they're in agreement. The NFL, the NBA, hockey, all of them have told you they're in agreement that you can bet on the games. They are getting a part. So do you think that their part is not just like it's been before? So now it ain't behind the table or under the table. They're telling you already. Now, why, if they're not involved in the spread, why are they benefiting from it? And it's not organized crime anymore. You can't cry that it's organized crime. No, they're doing it. And they're working with the bookies. They're working with what would be considered legal bookies. Look at the TV shows. Every show, Wagers has the wager shows. Fox has one. ESPN has one. I think I like them because a lot of them give these handicappers give good information. A lot of people don't watch it. It's like I quit watching the talking heads just to kind of, man, ESPN used to be one show and the rest of them talk about the same shit. That to me that was a waste. That was really a waste. It was like, why did you do that? Right. So I study this stuff, and I don't study it, without I don't study this without a lot of study of guys. As I've said before, I've studied guys. I told you before, basketball is the energy moves so much that it just moves through the country. I've told this story before. I coached a dude. Well, no, I refed. I'll take that back. We used to ref a little high school. We did all their sports. I would go in there and do a couple soccer games, turn around and do a couple volleyball games, and then turn around and do a JV basketball game and a varsity basketball game all in one day. They would start the soccer games early. We would do all that in one day. Nice checks. But I only bring that up because there was a dude in there that he would make contact with a dude and he would fall off him. I mean, he would kind of bump a guy and then just get his shot off. That's how he would separate. As soon as he felt contact, he would just fall away and separate. Do you know how many older dudes than me I saw do this same exact thing? Now, how can you explain that? How can you explain this boy that's growing up in the cornfield area of Michigan called he lived in Martin, Michigan. How that probably never really dude from probably 2003, 2004 graduate, somewhere back in there. How do you explain his game is just like a dude I saw across the state? How can you explain that? How can you explain that? That you see these other players that never saw these other people play, but they play just like them. How do you explain that if it is not a spiritual aspect? Booker is from Fort Greene, Bedford-Stuyvesant. He was busting ass from young age. I played against him twice at least. He was a globetrotter and won skills with ease. He played against the best of the bad. Yes. Now the Trotters, I did not know. Okay. I did not know about the Trotters. That's what I'm saying. When he mentioned that, he mentioned ball handling. I'm like, no, there was somebody else in that movie that was a better ball handler. You think we'll lose, they take a job. I don't know. I don't know if they could take him down like that, Valerie. I don't know if they could take him down for that. That he'll get a pass from that. He ain't the first one to do that, so he'll get a pass for that. But do they not make it because of the other stuff? I would think would be more important. Soul in the Hole. I've watched that before. I'll watch that again. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Show my daughter these moves. Soul in the Hole. I forgot about that. Thank you. Right on. Okay, thank you. Oh, thank you, Conspiracy. He didn't play with the Trotters. I mean, he was super skilled with that. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I want to say, though, when And One came out, he was connected with them at first. I don't know how many seasons he did. He did, I thought, a season or two with And One. I could be wrong, but I thought he did. I thought when they first put it together with Mark Jackson's brother, the bigger guy that played at Louisville. And he's an interesting case, too. Makes you wonder, was he the sacrifice for Mark Jackson? I got to watch out because I still told my son I'd watch Batman. That shit's 3 hours, so not going to go terribly longer. But yeah, he's Escalade. Yeah, Escalade. I thought him and Escalade played together when if no, the other cat. The other cat. Oh no, not even before Escalade. Who was the other cat? Oh, who was him? Oh, who was this dude? Who was him? Who was that other cat? It was a dude that had played in Europe. They did a documentary on that other guy. And he was one of the early and one dudes too. Because I think their first season, but I'm pretty sure Booger played with them. I'm pretty sure Hot Sauce. Oh yeah, I remember Hot Sauce too. I was just gonna ask if Mark sacrificed him. I definitely think so. Because his brother hooped and they did help him lose weight and stuff, but what's odd about him was like they always hooped. And at one point, of course, he quit hooping and he would just be like the manager, but I don't know how he got out of shape so quickly. But they showed a young dude that I watched play at Purdue, and he had a little run with Portland. I remember when Portland drafted him, little run with Portland, got traded to another team, played decent. During this stuff, something happened to him, boy from Purdue, a young man from Purdue, and something happened to him. They showed him going to court, and that mug, he was like 6'9", 6'10", but he was like 4 something. So I don't know. It's hard to understand how dudes Hot Sauce and one. Yeah. He did and one mixtape. Yeah, he did the and one mixtape. Yeah, I thought but it's early. You got to catch the early and one. But Booger, I think Booger did and one when they first started going in there. I mean, you look at when they started, I want to say, even before Escalade joined. This other dude that was a forward though. Oh, what is his name? I can picture his face, but I can't think of his name. He was a smooth kind of forward, and I don't want to say because he reminds me of the dude, one of the guys that played in the movies. He reminded me of his game, but don't think that dude played. I think he just had a documentary about it. He followed his thing. Well, I'll tell you what I caught about him. What I've caught with him is Mark Jackson is very reluctant to do them signs. He is very reluctant to do signs. I'll say that, but he's a Christian. And he's very reluctant. Like he prefers to be on camera sitting down because it appears like some do send signs when they sit down. Most of them send signs when they stand up. Now, some send the signs because the only time they might be sitting down. But I noticed with Mark Jackson, they tend to pressure him to do signs when he's standing up. Now, on my other channel, I had Reggie Miller do like 10, 20 words. Like I said, watch King Dolo, the same kind of deal as King Dolo. I watched Reggie Jackson. And the only reason I knew what Reggie Jackson was doing because I watched King Dolo. You watch King Dolo, he throw about 1,000 signs. But when I was watching him, I would have never noticed what Reggie Lewis was doing. But Reggie Lewis threw so many one time. But Mark Jackson seems very reluctant with that. I mean, you look at what they took away from him. They took away everything from him. And I'm not trying to say this on being anti-religion. Mark gave them something to use against him. Because if you are a person of faith like that, you really got to play that stuff tight to your chest. You really can't put it as your philosophy in a business if it is not yours. If it is not your business, despite them giving you little gains, like the coaches that wear the crosses now, Tomlinson, Singletary was the first. Little things like that they'll let you do, but when you start injecting it more and making it a philosophy on how you coach and how you run these men of the business, if you have the right owners, you can get away with it. But if you don't and you start rubbing the people in them offices the wrong way, they can use that against you. And you have to, because what they'll do is they'll give you warnings. But for Chris Jackson, for Jackson being, on TV like he is, we know that his brother was sacrificed. There's no way to get away from that. No way to get away from that. Half Man, Half Amazing. Yeah, that was one of the best names.
So, that he's had to sacrifice that. Hot Saucer from Atlanta. I remember his high school. I watched him and I stayed in Atlanta, him in highlights. Okay, bet, Lorenzo, bet. And gave Kerr all the accolades for, yeah, exactly. He put that team together. But he didn't lose anything. I mean, probably gets paid better now than being a coach because they brought him back in. They let him go out. They brought him right back in. So he got spanked, but he didn't get defeated. He got spanked, and they gave somebody else. They did my cousin Tony, the same way. Tony built that team in Tampa Bay. And then the Raiders going to fire Tony, then trade for Gruden because, they traded for Gruden because you can trade coaches. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Gruden, no, they traded people for Gruden so Gruden could coach. But I remember they had fired Gruden too. That's why they fired his ass too. So that's the game. I've watched so many cats play. I was just thinking, like when they mentioned, let me say this. You see ESPN or TNT is doing the thing about Magic. Did y'all see that? Because of that HBO show. And they say Jerry West is trying to sue them for, whatever it's called, the Lakers' first season, the shit on HBO. They say Jerry West is crazier. It's been them rumors about Jerry West being hot-tempered like that and breaking the trophy. There have been rumors. That ain't nothing to... Back when he played in the Olympics, Jerry West played in the Olympics. Jerry West went to West Virginia. It's been them rumors that he was a crazy hothead. And they mad about it. They saying the way they portrayed Magic's father. I think, let me say this. I ain't been to their house a whole lot of times, but my friend Johnny, and I knew Evelyn. Evelyn is his younger sister. Evelyn's my age. I knew Evelyn and I knew Johnny. So I've been to their house when we were younger, but I played against Magic 2 years ahead of me. And his mother was very religious like that. His dad was a worker, hard worker. But I didn't know his dad. If his dad worked for the sanitation department, his dad worked at General Motors too, or one of them. His dad worked one of the auto plants too, because it was auto plants in Lansing. It was auto plants in Lansing. That was what I had heard. Matter of fact, I heard that his dad did the garbage. His dad worked in the auto plant. His dad did the garbage, and they cleaned offices. That's all I'd heard that his dad did. Because Magic talks about the reason why he bought his first Benz, because he wanted Benz like the offices he cleaned. He said they'd go to the office and he would see them type of Benz, and he wanted one of them type. So he had his dad. They was working with his dad. And I said that dude they doing with the daughters, Dr. Tucker. And Dr. Tucker is the reason why Isaiah talked that shit about saying Magic mess with trannies, because Dr. Tucker ripped them all off. That you can see is leading to that. You see where the dad was mad. This is the behind story. Dr. Tucker knew Magic in 6th, 7th grade and became his handler. But not only his handler, took him to camps, had him in front of everybody at the best camps, developing his game. And people still say the no-look pass. I had one dude, because Dr. Tucker played it like the college. I went to that college too when I was older, though, but KCC in Battle Creek. Dr. Tucker played there. Maybe he played at Western Michigan. I think he might have been on the team. I don't know if he played. But the no-look pass was Dr. Tucker's game. And people are, no, he did. That's Dr. Tucker's game. That is definitely something Magic got from Dr. Tucker. Because Dr. Tucker always played, we had a summer tournament called the Hoopsters, where I got to see Gervin as a young dude. Gervin broke his hand. We were so mad. We only got to see one game. He broke his hand one time. Gervin, Steve Mix, trying to think. Ralph Simpson, that played at Denver. Ralph Simpson came every year. So many other dudes. The 6th episode has symbolism, numerology for your ass, the abolishing the truth, but it's a good show. Dad didn't like Dr. Tucker. Him and Kareem was talking. Well, I mean, but what I'm saying is, There wasn't no quick relationship. And I don't, as far as I know, Dr. Tucker didn't have a daughter that age. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong because it was Dr. Tucker and his name is Charles, and then he had a brother named Leroy. I knew these dudes. These dudes are older than me, my cousin's age, but I mean, my parents would have card parties, and Dr. Tucker would be in there eating wings. We'd sit on the steps and eat wings together. So I knew Dr. Tucker since I was a little boy. So when they'd be gambling, my parents have a little gambling party, and I remember sitting on the steps with Dr. Tucker, and he just talking, talking about ball and stuff. So it was the guy. This ain't nobody. I'm just saying, I knew this dude, and he was bringing Magic around. Magic was young still, so he was this handler, and he stole from him, Isaiah, Greg Kilser, Mark Aguirre. I'm trying to think of the other chump. Probably Jay Vincent too. Jay Vincent, Sam Vincent, and Big Dog Robertson. And as I said this before, what made no sense about, even though Big Dog Robertson got the best contract ever, which maybe I exaggerated before, I think it was $80 million. I forget, something like that. Maybe it was 180, but I won't say 80 at the time. You guys can look that up. But this was after he stole from them. Big Dog signed with Dr. Tucker after he stole from all them. After he stole, Big Dog signed that big contract. I was surprised. And that's why he ate him. Jackie McClellan, a Boston reporter, wrote a book about Magic and Larry Bird. Don't mention Dr. Tucker. Neither one is mentioned. Neither book or this series. The series, they make another character that is definitely Dr. Tucker. Definitely Dr. Tucker. And as I said, Dr. Tucker got his degree from Western when it was that integration shit, and there was no black doctoral people coming out of Western, and they took a bunch of them. And that's how he got his degree. And you look this up. I ain't telling nothing that ain't known. He got a job at Michigan State for the athletes. And he was passing these athletes, and they got caught up in an academic scandal, and he got fired from Michigan State. Ralph Simpson was one dude. Ralph Simpson went pro early too, after playing only a season or two at Michigan State, because he went straight ABA. He played with Denver before. They was Spencer Haywood. They was the Denver Rockets. He played with the Denver Rockets, and then later the Nuggets came, but he played with Denver when they was called the Rockets. That's what Spencer Haywood played with. I don't think Spencer Haywood played with the Nuggets. I think Spencer Haywood was bad. He turned the Olympics out. Spencer Haywood turned out the 68 Olympics with Jabbar and all them other dudes, Alvin Hayes, when all of them boycotted. When they doing the Nazi salute, the track players, when that dude wear the Prada glasses got everybody Nazi and saluting. This did not mean black power. This meant Nazi saluting. Ain't no different. That's what that means. Nazi salute. We imitating them. So that don't mean black power. That is that shit. When Hitler, he would do this. Everybody else doing this. Hitler was like, hey, he hitting them like this. Watch him. I mean, they show Hitler every day. So Spencer Haywood turned that shit out. And then when the ABA, it was MVP and most valuable player, well, rookie of the year too. And then jumped in the league. And used to call it hardship. He is the one that initiated the hardship. But people had jumped leagues. Pete Gugliak had jumped leagues, and they let him do it. They didn't penalize him. They tried to kind of penalize. It's the same thing. If you look at the AFL and the NFL merging, Pete Golazak, it was two of them, soccer players that kicked. Pete Golazak jumped from the NFL to the AFL, because before it was the opposite. Dudes was leaving the NFL to go in the AFL, and they wasn't getting stuck in their contracts. So Pete Golazak won his case. They come to Spencer Haywood, they started fucking with him, and they would pull him out of games, try to arrest him if he played. So he had a season where, they just fuck with him. And then finally, it's a good thing where, if you can catch the Spencer Haywood documentary, where, when he said the reason why he had to go pro, and he was like, this dude was from Spencer Haywood was from poor Mississippi. I mean, poor Mississippi. And I think his mother moved to Michigan with all these children. Most of Detroit was 7, 8 children. So, and he just happened to be 6'9". Jackie McClellan. Yes, thank you. That's here. Man, Hitler on every day. I have counted. No exaggeration, no cap, whatever you want to call it. Hitler been on every day for the last 60 days. On my cable, The last 60 days, he been on TV. One of these channels I got, Hitler's on TV. The last 60 days. So, yep. So, we was food, but we, melanated people bought into shit that agents did. Like you hear people talking about Angela Davis, another agent, set them boys up. I mean, that's a beautiful picture. If you can see the picture of the boys that tried to break George Jackson out, it's just that story. Even George Jackson, you got to look at the story and what the boys did. The boys are with that picture, and that's really, if I had my own studio, that picture would be behind me, no doubt. One of my angles, I'd have to show that picture because that picture breaks every Mason code you've ever seen. They've got the hang noose behind over the judges. Look this up. Look up the George, might be the Soledad brothers, but see if you can find the pictures on Pinterest. But they got the judge with a double barrel taped to him in a noose, like a lynching noose. And the younger brother is 16, 17. He's got a pistol and there's a couple dudes behind. No, you can't see the brother. No. Yeah, in the front. I'm trying to think of the front dude because he got killed. I can't think of which one is his brother. Is it the dude with the pistol? I thought his brother was a dude behind, though. And the 17-year-old, they show him with the gun, and he later gets shot in the head before they go. But they kill that judge. But it kills the Mason. It kills the energy of that Mason, just that picture alone. That's why if you go on my page of Brian Toby Macon, go on Facebook. It's on my page. And you can see that shit. That is a Mason breaking code like no other. That they allowed that picture. That picture is inspirational like a motherfucker. That we took that shit. That we breaking all this shit. And that they hate that kind of shit. But yet, they have to show it. If it's done and achieved, and it's almost like the realities of video game. But if you achieve these certain kind of things, fighting what the real power is and the real threat and holding it in your hands, and the way they look at it, if one of us did them like that they've got to put the ripple through everybody. That's what people don't understand. That's why that kind of thing. And quantum science breaks down where they have to tell certain things. And I think that's one of the things. They got to tell that the power is there. That the power is there. I mean, I always talk about the 1919 and the terror from that. The brothers would have came home and was like, let's go after them. Almost all of them kept their rifles. If you follow it, almost all of them kept their guns. And they just got together and stayed together as groups. The spook who sat by the door kind of deal. Don't let the dudes go home to these little country towns with their uniforms. All kind of ways that a lot of this stuff could have been repelled. And they always tell you the numbers. It ain't always about numbers. Sometimes it's strategy. Sometimes little things, strategy. But yeah, Hitler on every day. You can hear all about it. I mean, think about it. Hitler's the first superstar. The first superstar in movies and TV was Hitler. There wasn't nobody more famous before Hitler came. You can say Rudolph Valentino. I'm trying to think who came in the 30s. Wasn't really nobody big as Hitler. He's a German and they showing his shit over here. They were showing his shit all over the world. Tell me who else was doing that in the 30s? Not Humphrey Bogart. Some of these chicks. No, it was Hitler. Hitler's the first superstar. Now, King is the first melanated person that they created. He got the Michael Jordan treatment. Was him. Was definitely King. They gave King that treatment. But see, by putting Malcolm on TV and the hate that hate produced, come on, they put him on TV. Malcolm stayed on TV. Malcolm stayed on TV. Look at the old films. You can find it. So when you're seeing the beast or the machine putting these people on, you got to think, why are they putting these people on? As I said, my experience with the Nation of Islam is everybody left it. And when I was a freshman in college in 79, I went downtown and prayed with the Sonys. I started with the Nation of Islam in Kalamazoo. There was the Nation of Islam. But when I went to college, Elijah Muhammad died. When his brother took over, Wallace D was his name. It's something else. I'm sure he's passed by now. we no longer was we went to, I was seeing Arab brothers and all kind of brothers in downtown Greensboro that welcomed me. We do the same thing. There was another mosque in Winston-Salem. That's where I saw a brother. I saw a brother at a store. The brother just started talking to me, and he told me where the mosque was. We didn't. I don't even know how it came up. And I went to the mosque in Winston-Salem, and I saw him. I was like, "Hey, brother, can you get me some Qurans?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I'll get them for you before you leave." He's like, "I can't get them to you right now, but before you leave, you'll be given." And they gave me the double set. And then my best friend later gave me a hardback one. But I was like, I asked him because I saw him in the mosque. I was like, "Hey, brother, can you give me some Qurans?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll give them to you before you leave." So these wasn't under the black Muslim guys. So just understanding. Hey, thank you, Firewater. That is so kind of you. Just understanding, the times and studying how this thing is and studying the people and how the people are portrayed and how the fear thing. I mean, you know how scared they were of the people in the 1970s? They done sent 500,000 troops to Vietnam. They had 200,000 or 300,000 troops in Germany. They kept about 35,000 to 50,000 troops in Korea. There was nobody here to defend America. Nobody. And you on these campuses, the people is taking over. So you don't think they trying to infiltrate this and trying to control it? You don't think when the vets was coming back telling the truth, they ain't have to put somebody's face in front of it, one of their guys? What's his name? He's in the cabinet now. It'll come to me in a minute. Ran for president against Bush. Skull and bones dude who didn't see any real action. He talking shit about his own people. Talking about they baby killers and shit. Not telling you that what they call a massacre in Mao Lee, dude, look what happened to his people in the village before. And they fought them into that village. You had some people killed. You chase the people in this new village and you kill everybody in the village. Now, I ain't justifying that, but I'm saying that was not unnormal. That's what you watch the dude. I'm not going to talk about what's going on now. I'll hold that. But I'll say this. I won't give it that background, but I'll say this. This is what happened too. So you go into a village, you chasing motherfuckers that killed your people. You chasing them, that killed your people. And if, say, they went into a hospital and was shooting at you from the hospital, are you not going to shoot back into the hospital? I mean, that's war. That's war. Vietnam was a lot of that. It was a lot of that. So was Winston-Salem. Winston-Salem, that's now too far from my family is from. Yeah, I went Winston, Greensboro. I went to school in Greensboro. Oh, and let me say this. If y'all didn't know, they burn witches in Winston-Salem too. It's a part of town that they give back in the 70s. They was giving you a tour where the witches lived. They show you the witch's house and what they did to the witches. They had pictures that the witches lived here and they prosecuted. So not only in Salem, Massachusetts, a lot of people may not know the story about they killed some witches in North Carolina, Winston-Salem. I went to this shit was amusement. Like, this place was like, a historic thing. And they had like signs telling you the witch's name and shit. Again, I was in 5th grade. I never went there when I was an adult. I kind of forgot about it. But this place was there. When I was in 5th grade in 71, 72, this shit was there where they killed the witches. So I haven't studied that. I should. Let's start studying that shit. I've been there. And all the time I was down there, I never went back. Village of the Winston-Salem, North Carolina, witch trials. And that's why I love when I do come on tonight and I get to say it all starts with a gentle sadness, because it does. Now I'll hold in this because this Kundalini is more emotion. Sometimes the spiritual quest is so hard, and to learn all the story, so much becomes exposed. You have to experience it, and there's horror in it. And it's not even, talking about making agreeable things agreeable, because that's a different kind of thing. It's like really no lesson in that. It's really no lesson in that. And it's like this beast is a repeater. If you guys notice, it tries to repeat this stuff over and over and over again. That is one thing that getting free of this thing is so great, because you quit seeing this thing how it wants to repeat all the time. And sometimes, like, even small victories just quickly get turned around. And it's like, okay. And I guess the thing of what did Sly Stone say? You can't leave because your heart is there, but you can't stay because you've been somewhere else. You can't cry because you all cried out, but you cried anyway because you kind of turned out. It's a family affair. I know that probably ain't the last line, but it's that tough sometimes. It's like that, It's like that. But people don't want to tell you all the gifts because it ain't, you got to take it all. And some people aren't built to take all the gifts. Like, even the way I have everything, this is a lot of power. I understand that. And in some ways, it's too much. It's like some shit was revealed to my daughter, and I had, go in and tell these stones, hey, this is too much. And it's fine, but when she sleeps in there, you've got to turn this down. You can't reveal it to her. You've got to understand this, So sometimes as you get the spiritual path and you have spiritual things around you, you have to have an aim for it. And even I was reminded that this stuff is strong. This is strong stuff around me. And you get comfortable. I can see how these wicked mugs be in these pastels and at the Vatican with this strong stuff and this strong knowledge around them, because you get comfortable. You get this knowledge, you get comfortable. And it's almost like not worth being good. That's what it makes you really want to think, that it's almost worth not being a good person. Really, really looks like that. It almost like it doesn't want you to be a loving person. That's the kind of way it's stacked. They would prefer, if you get this information, be cold. That's why if you check some people out, they bring, like Quantum of Sciences, even though he has a lot of the information, he is cold about it. The way he is cold about it. He's tell you himself, he hardly go anywhere. He sees his friends and he don't really interact. So the information has come to him, but is left him cold, detached. Because that's probably the only way he can deal with it. And what I can say through playing on the creation ball fields, I have been able to relate to so many different types of people. Because it's like every time I am near them, I see the magic of what it really is. There is an energy that sports creates, and playing sports and playing with a ball creates, that people just don't know, that have a lot to do with life. Now, I ain't saying that's all there is, but there's a lot to do in life. There's a lot of things that relate. There's a lot of ways that you look at how it relates, especially to raising young and keeping young active. This is a great way to keep our young active, to keep that energy and put that energy in them. But what's corrupted is that to say that the golden ticket is the everyone's goal. That shouldn't be it. The golden ticket ain't everybody's goal. Healthy lifestyle should be everybody's goal. I've learned these skills and I'm going to try to stay healthy and show other people how to be healthy. Now, I do hate that part of what my knowing is I have to show the fraud. Because there has to come a time where we have to create something like that we see, that people participate in, that is local. That is local. And we go locally. And we quit looking at these people on these screens and thinking that is the peak. We have to bring that local thing back that does not have any corruption. And if they have to work and then hoop at night or whenever on the weekends, whatever, play football on the weekends, so be it. At least we know it's true. At least we know they are not. Because we see what happens when these people get all this. They become all corrupted. That is why they preyed on the melanated people. I mean, if you look at all the melanated players that ain't got their mamas, what did me and PJ talk about the boy that sacrificed himself? And they had the nerve to show his name. This boy has been sacrificed for the NBA without even playing in the NBA. And they got the nerve to show his name, talking about every team draft him or a special draft spot. Why do you think they did something like that? That's straight negative ritual right there. That shows you how ugly that thing is. They show you the blood right during this. So that shows you this is just straight ugly. There's no way you can look at this as just being straight negative and mock us with it. Put a weave on his mama, dress his mama up, whatever she got paid for attending. If she had insurance on him, a lot of times, just happened to do it. Wouldn't be surprised. So this is how ugly it is. And more people like Lobo. It's another young brother. I can't think of your show, but I'll write it down. But the more people that put their eyes on this, put their work to this, and keep exposing. And then the goal is only make them admit it. Put them on the thing like wrestling. And then it is no longer religion. It's no longer religion. People are still going to love it, but it's no longer religion. It's no longer religion. And that is the goal. At least that is my goal. To make them admit it and to take away the religious aspect out of it that they hold on Sundays. And you probably say, well, it has everything to do with it because they took over Sunday. The Catholics and the Christians, they took it over. So it becomes a religion. It replaced religion on Sunday. You people, anybody out there knowing, if you know, and you've watched, if you live in Michigan or you lived on East Coast times, if them churches didn't get out by 12, you knew it was a bunch of fathers leaving up out of there. So you don't think they was trying to, you had the women. Now the women gave them something to do. Women could go from church to church, go have dinner in another church. Men didn't care. You let the men go go watch football. And that's kind of what the trade was. It gave a social thing for women to go from church to, because I watched my aunts do it and my grandmother, church to church to church. That's all they would do on Sundays. My granddad, go home, watch the game. We go and watch the game. My aunts and I would ditch my aunts. I would hide from them and go sneak in my grandfather's car. I'm like, I am not going from church to church to church. My grandfather just laughed. He see me in the car. He's like, I figure you'd be in here. I'm like, I ain't going where they going. Food was good, but I'm not missing football. I'm going to go listen to blues because my I do the same thing. I had a game on and I had the music blasting. I got that from my grandfather. Watched the game, but I'm going to have the music blasting, the same thing. That's what I got from him. Debo wants to get traded. Well, I heard that the witches they killed in Massachusetts was melanated. My brother's channel is they erased that stuff. Tibia, what is her name? Yeah, the main one. Well, if you really study, it's kind of interesting if you study the witch trials there. The main chick, Tibia, whatever her name is, was definitely melanated. My brother proved that on his other channel. So yeah, whenever I get a chance to get him on, he has younger children, so we probably have to come on. But he proved that they were. But a 14-year-old girl got all them people killed. And this is what's interesting. One of the last people they killed, this 14-year-old girl, and really he was like one of the richer dudes. And so what they did is they put a door on him and they stoned him to death by keep adding the stones to him and slowly crushed him. But the thing that they were trying to do is if you admitted that you did the crime, they could take your property. So long as he didn't confess, he just got killed, but his family kept his property. He was a doctor too. It was really a property grab. But a 14-year-old girl, look it up. A 14-year-old girl, look it up. 14-year-old girl did all that. She was nothing but a little actor. If you looked at it, she was a little actor. One day I want you to break down my city hall in the center of 4 pillars in the little chart, and there's a free Masonic hall across the street. Wow. Okay. Oh, I tell you, I wish I had enough money to go get Jody, because Jody used to do videos and show all the Masonic halls. Zach a little bit too. That's interesting because I always talk about Little Beaver. Little Beaver. What was Little Beaver's last name? Little Beaver. I can't remember Little Beaver's last name. Cloves. Little Beaver Cone. Little Beaver's last name was Cone, and Little Beaver tried to get me to take over the Black Mason Hall in Battle Creek. Pretty nice, but the same thing. Pillars, police station right next to a city hall with the pillars. Like, remember, it was a show a couple years ago with the dude from Sopranos and the dude from what is the commercial where he smashes shit all the time? He starred in it. What is the dude? Allstate commercial where he's crashing in shit. He's Havoc or whatever. That dude and the dudes from the Sopranos or the dude from Goodfellas that gets shot in the foot. That dude, him. And the guy from the commercials was in a show called Battle Creek, and they kind of show the pillars of City Hall. They show Kellogg's a little bit post before when it went to. And I'm saying one of my I went to the police academy with, one of my grade school buddies, Ronnie, was in it. I saw him in the scene. I'm like, man, you was in the scene. No, it wasn't me. Like, nigga, that was you in the scene. You in the scene. What is you talking about? And then later, even on his Facebook page, you can see his scene. I mean, he's in a talking scene, but he's in a background scene where he's pointing and talking like he's, what's going on? And I'm like, Ronnie, I saw you. He's like, oh, that wasn't me. Yes, it was. That was you, dude. Okay, but yeah. The Minnesota and Memphis games, they are showing John Towns' father. Yeah, because the mama died. I mean, Towns is, I'm telling you, he's the town clown. I mean, how many times am I going to talk about him falling down after a shot? Him going over the back when he got 5 fouls. Going over the back when there's no way you can get it. Earlier tonight, he had one that was they both was doing the same thing. So that one, but some others, he just is obvious that he tries to charge. He tries not to make a difference. He told Edwards, don't go to the hoop because they shot blocking. That's what he told Edwards on the bench. I know you want to go to hoop, but don't go to hoop because they shot blockers. Memphis is shot blockers like that? Come on. No. Ricky says Mike Tyson beat up that dude in the airplane. Again, was it staged? But you can't fuck with people. That's what's turning. You can't fuck with people. And it looked like there was pictures of him fucking with him. You can't fuck with people anymore. And you definitely can't throw substance on him on the airplane. That's a felony. So Mike gave him about 10-piece, didn't he? You just can't fuck with people. That's the main thing. You just can't really fuck with people. I mean, just think if that was the street and something and, did that shit and Mike shot him. Leave people the fuck alone. Especially in them kind of situations. And I think it was a thing because remember, they didn't have a mask on. And that was one of the first stories of, them not having the mask on. So, and they're probably going to say, well, when people wore the mask. When people wore the mask, they didn't fight as much on the planes because they wore the mask. And how many times they got screaming people? I don't think they'll pinch me for saying that. Some other shit I was about to say, I ain't gonna say that shit because they tell you what they're backing now. So I ain't got to say it right now. I can say it later. I mean, world events is they trying to make you think about shit that ain't got shit to do with $5 gas. Gold was at 1950 all day, dropped from 1980, but still above 1900 is money. Silver, I want to say gas was 103, pretty sure. Uh, Again, gold not terribly down. Everything else went red. Usually, when gold goes up, the rest of the stocks go in red, especially the big ones. But everything but gold about $1.03. So gas should be a little cheaper. So the money is there, but so is inflation. I got I got $15 with the gas and gave me 4 gallons. Four. I got 4 gallons for 15. Think I'm gonna make a song of it. I got 4 gallons for 15. It was so expensive. When I went home and told my lady, she wouldn't even let me get between. She told me go back and get 4 gallons more. I called her name as I walked out the door, but I took her money. I went back to get some gas, and it went up to $5, and I didn't get very much very fast. Hey, Jody, good evening. Good evening. How you doing? I was just talking about you, Jody, because I was going to say, me and you need to go to these places and break down these Masonic halls and what's around it. Yeah, and the way they do the land. I should tell some of my real dirt because I watched Battle Creek's police force, and it was just. I don't want to tell everything that I had going on, but I'll tell some of the stuff, some of the easiest stuff. It was like when they would do really raids, they would always come from the fort, like the air base. They every time when they would raid places, they would always meet in the fort. And then they tried to get slick and they would meet like deeper in the fort, but it was still in the fort. It's like what dummies. They did this. And then they would bring in dudes from the police academies and they would make them go undercover. A lot of dudes didn't have jobs right off, so they would pluck them out of the police academies, put them in the same apartments, and then have them dealing with drugs. If they hooped or whatever, they would be around. But I mean, they stayed in the same place. So it was easy. So if you knew somebody that was managing the place, and yeah, I mean, yeah. Little towns sometimes think they're slick and complicated, and you just watch. You know, if you just watch. Yeah, Jody said, heck yeah. Right on. Yeah, that might be a goal of ours. We'll make a channel. Dun, 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 dun. Because a lot of it is. But you know what the main thing we would do? We would get pendulums and we would get divining rods and show you. That's how we would do it. Downtown, pendulums and divining rods. Tell y'all, I'll give this out. Whoops. I'm a fidgeter. But I've said this before. If you want to know the power area on your land or wherever you live, your house, get a little pendulum. Order one, make one yourself. It ain't hard to make. Divining rods a little easier. I mean, they ain't that expensive. They just get the copper ones. $30. And you got a nice little tract of land. You take them divining rods, you can find the ley lines. I mean, around here with just my pendulum, just a pendulum. If you don't want to make one, buy one, order a little one, and you just connect with it, and it will show you where your ley lines that you sit on. Like the stronger. Now, let me tell you, this is what they do to me. When I first moved here, I found the strongest ley line in this area. I found it. These witches would always, every night, try to throw me off it because they would park there. Don't you know this is my 6th summer living here. Don't you know there's a car today in almost 3 years now straight, they park on that spot where it's the strongest spot. Now, it's places around it, but for almost 3 straight years, they park on those ley lines. It's people that park there. It's an old lady that parks there. of all the places where she could park, because she actually could park in the garage too. But it's like she parks directly on the strongest ley line, and there's a ley line like in front of me that kind of runs like back going north. Because it kind of, I'm on, my bedroom is on line. That's another reason why I'm going to switch my bed more east. Because then I'll kind of be, because there's a line like from my couch right behind my easy chair that goes straight into my room. But yeah, that's where it runs. So it's easy to find. But my point is, if you want to get the most out of whatever you're trying to manifest, your spirituality, that's good to know. And it's in everybody's home. They can't take it from us. So it's places that will be a little stronger energy. So you put music over it, and so I'm gonna give everybody the Jaguar energy. Oh, you know it. Oh, okay. EMF readers. Do I have any information? Recommend EMF readers? I don't know if that's the right question you're asking me, but no, not offhand. I'll look that up. I have to look that up. I think I know what you're asking, but I'll look that up again to make sure you're asking. Okay, so you take your pendulum. Well, I mean, let me see. Okay, if any of y'all can do this, this is a cheat you could do. If you had a wire hanger, but you have to have a full one, not the one with just the cardboard on the bottom. If you have a full wire hanger, cut it in two, keep the bend in the hanger, but take it out, but keep the bend in it. Yeah. And then you would just, let me see, cut it. No. Okay, so you screw it apart. I'm trying to put it together. So you take the hanger, you cut the hanger in two, you unthread it. Okay, yeah. So you'd unthread it, and then you would hold the threaded areas, and the part you cut in two, they should be facing like this. So I'm trying to think, do I want to turn them around, turn them? Or trying to think how I did it. Because I don't have one, but you can do it like this. And I've tried to picture, do I want them in or out? Okay, yeah, it seems like what I did is I cut it, and then the parts that go, and then, okay, yes, you'd have to hold them in. No, you'd hold them opposite. You'd hold them opposite. So the parts that you cut would still kind of have a bow in it, and you would have to have that facing out. And then you'd cross them. Yeah. And then you would cross them. Yeah. You would cross them like this. And as you would approach things, you'll kind of see where they kind of gravitate a little bit. But you can order them off eBay or Amazon too. But a pendulum, what you do is you take the pendulum, and you just walk to different spots in you got to walk on your land at different spots. And you just hold the pendulum. Now, if you want to do it in the house, just hold the pendulum. If it don't do nothing, keep moving. If it don't do nothing, keep moving it around. And eventually you'll hit where it'll start moving. Now, I'm not going to say that if it moves to the left, that's wrong. That ain't really wrong. You're looking for a ley line. You're not asking it a question. And so it's going to tell you. Now, I'll say this is a thing, or this is the thing. This is something to pay attention to. And it's probably giving too much information, so I'm not giving too much information, but I don't want to make it complicated. But anywhere you take it, if you can get it to turn, that is probably a good place to meditate, or put something spiritual like an altar or whatever you into, sculptures, whatever you into. But meditate definitely with a pendulum would do it. So pendulums are fairly cheap. Most cities have crystal shops, and just go to a crystal shop and get you a cheap one. My pendulums are all in my bedrooms. I don't have any more out here. I'm going to bring them back out here. Because before my computer crapped out, I was going to start doing it. So that's how you find so that's in your house. But to find the stronger lines, like even just to walk around the neighborhood, same practice. You can walk around the neighborhood and find that stuff too. Because it's probably about 50 yards. 50 yards from me is where the ley lines, and that's just the same kind of practice, because I was starting to meditate, and I sun gaze outside, but then I started messing with the pendulum, and I was like, whoa, okay. And I had a few bomb meditations because I would follow Jupiter. And Jupiter, back when it appeared like it was a real planet, it was feeding me information in fractals. Now it's Sirius, the same way where Jupiter would be, Sirius is right now. And so just taking the pendulum out there and just like could see where specifically it is the strongest. And they park cars on it. So that's all. That's a simple way to find it. They even have the EMF apps. Yeah, that's what I thought. But they are not accurate. Okay, that's okay. I was going to get a dowsing rod. Yeah, if you got dowsing rods, dowsing rods come together, and dowsing rods, they move. They're copper. Get the copper ones. But but you got a pendulum, that's the easiest way to find it. Just tell it what you're doing. Yeah, the apps are unreliable. Now, if you want to know how to fight it is with shungite. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I've had a couple of apps now you mention it, but this fights it. You keep shungite around you. I don't know nothing stronger. Even this make them even the apps react. Shungite would make the app, because it blocks it. It blocks it. But I think Forerunner was saying that it messed with his cable, so I took it off my box. When Forerunner said that, he said, it was slowing my speed down. And I think many of them are malicious apps. Okay, I can see that. So yeah, I couldn't tell you, but it was trash. I bought one from Amazon, but it was trash. I sent it back. Okay, readers in Faraday cages. Okay. Have you ever found water with your dowsing rod? I live right at a lake, so it's water all under me. Blocking fabric, it works. And that was something that I had been working on. Crazy Sar just sent me some shungite, big pack of what I bought, the cat destroyed, and I've been wanting to put together. And I'll be forgetting. You can paint. You can take shungite and you can make shungite into a paint, and you can paint panels. You can paint panels of shungite panels, and this stuff would block. Like if you put that kind of thing, even the painted thing over your Wi-Fi, it would work. I'd just be forgetting. I was trying to work with lotions to find a lotion. I couldn't get the black off your hands. But like to make shungite into a lotion putty, oh my goodness, it takes so much of the pain away. I wanted to buy the phone case EMF protector. Okay. And I think you can get the little shungite ones that you can put on the phones. I got one in one of my salt lamps. I was curious about the fabric. Demagnetize stuff? I don't think so. I don't think it can demagnetize stuff. I'll say no. In my experience, I'll say no. My clock just said it's bedtime reminder. I would say no. On the. I haven't never done it, but I would say no from my experience. And me and magnets. Magnets keep them things away from you. That's why another thing, if you having that sleep paralysis shit, put magnets near your bed. That's a simple way to. They don't like that shit. Put magnets, around you. There's a lot of wicked that don't like magnets. Not only they don't like the sound, they don't like magnets either. And that's pretty reliable. I should tell the witch's name. Let me see. Let me write her. No, I don't even want to write this witch's name down. She told me some shit though. What is her name? I don't even want to write her name down. Hell no. But she told me her name because I couldn't remember it. But she told me some other stuff too. She told me some other stuff, which surprised me. And I should say it. I'm going to say this. So I've always blamed the witch for coming to me in my dreams. Now, the witch has tried to marry me for the last 4 or 5 years. I talk about that all the time. And as I said, I forgot the witch's name. The witch sent me her name. But I was blaming the witch for trying to have sex with me in the dream world. It ain't her. It's somebody else. It's my favorite actress. And she was like, look, goof, you got her picture on the wall. It ain't me. It's like, so Dana Delaney, okay, that's you. So I'm going to say this, and you can think I'm crazy or whatever. That is her. Because I've admitted having a picture on my wall of her. So the witch told me that. So Dana Delaney, what's up? Call me. It'll be better than this life. Lead paint blocks it. That's why they banned it. But lead paint tastes sweet. Lead paint, firewater, lead paint tastes sweet. It smells sweet and it tastes sweet. Lead paint tastes like mint. I mean, I'm telling you from experience. We would go to school, what's it called? Fast time at high something, fast times at Ridgemont High. Remember, everybody got the copies and smelled the copies? When I was in elementary school, we would walk by the peel and paint and we would put some in our mouth because it's sweet. It smells sweet and it tastes sweet. That's one reason why they banned it, though, because it smells sweet and it tastes sweet, and we would eat that shit. They banned it for that too. I'm not saying that you're not right, but I'm saying that's another part of it too. That shit tastes sweet. Earth magnets. Bad, yeah, because you can find magnets that's just already magnetic. They ain't got to crush, because most of the time what they do is they crush, this hematite. They crush this hematite. This is specular hematite. This is some bad shit. Grounding. Like the two most grounding stones I have are these. Or these two. These is grounding, but this shit here, if I'm going this, I call this shit, and this shit will grab me by the leg and bring me back. I'm like, hey, it's a little too much, buddy. Where you at? And this stuff literally, like I'm about 10 feet from where I meditate. And if I call this 10 feet away, it is going with me. This is another one of my stones that ain't never far. When I move, it moves. And it's like, if it hits me and the experience is like, woo, I'm like, hey, come. And it will like put that grounding in there and everything slows and the information comes in differently. And that's, Sugarite definitely does that. It'll definitely give you that. That's why the harmonizing, they put the sunstone, I put the showerite, because you got to have something that catches it. Because you sit there with this thing and you're not ready. This thing will, the energy is like literally one stone. This really will do that. You close your eyes and hold this thing and you are not properly grounded. This thing will have you like, you'd be like, whoa. To show you out of your body and be like, hey, what just happened? Did it be that like you be out your body like, whoa, wait a minute, I didn't really mean to come out this quick. I'm still thinking about, but it'll have you like that. It really will have you. So this is something to be prepared. You deal with this, be prepared to deal with it. And there are better grades, but so aren't lodestones magnetic too? Could be. I don't really know. It could be. Thank you for sharing if they are. I'm going to add a little bit tonight. I'm going to give the divination for day 9 of the Mayan calendar. And it is Mulak. Common name is raindrop, water, qualities, lunar intelligence, wisdoms, signals, signs, awakened attention, self-remembrance, guidance, Godspeed, cosmic communication, or a beacon. The symbol is a lotus or the moon. The number is 9, the grand cycle. The color is sunset peach. I didn't have nothing sunset peach. I went to my tailor and said, man, what can you give me in sunset peach? He said he had to order it. I said, I need sunset peach, even the thread, baby. I want sunset peach thread. It's like, that's going to cost you a little more. Like, go get it. I want sunset peach, all of it, even the buttons, sunset peach. Herbs are golden seals. Flowers are apricot rose. Essence is dogwood or cosmic communication. Scents is peach or lotus or apricot. Stones are peach moonstones. Generator quartz. It is an earth element. It is coming out of the east. So this is a new cycle. Great time to start manifesting. Shadow wisdom is self-forgetting, negative self-talk, self-depreciation. Yeah. lacking awareness of signs offered by the cosmic communication, hiding the fullness of your life. And that is one thing I have let opportunities go by because of, and it wasn't even sadness. It was like almost a laziness. It was like I knew the energy was coming and I was too lazy to jump on the wave. And I look back, it's like, wow, I should have, that energy was there. And so sometimes the way this turns, it could be that for you. Be with others who support your fullest expressions. The mantra would be right hand on the forehand, forming an O. Okay. I've got anything heavy enough? Maybe. Okay. So they want you to do this. So this, like this. So it says right hand on forehead, forming an O. On the third eye, left hand at right angle, finger together, facing palm, like this. And you would say, as a galactic beacon and receiver, I have direct access to the divine. And the meditation is lotus of remembrance, quicken the sacred seed. And the harmonic wisdom is modulation. And up here, this is a deep book. And this is like, really, I got to start giving people this kind of a reading. This is deep. This is really like straight up all the Mayan energy of readings. So what we have is the light pulse, and here it says harmonic wisdom is modulation. So what this guy did, and this guy, all this other stuff I study is pretty much related. This is the 7th of the 20th light pulses in the sacred calendar. And the base energy of this light pulse is a strong will propelled by powerful and irrational urges. Instinct is relied upon instead of the rational mind. If you were born on this watery light pulse of Moloch, you'll find yourself acting without rational explanation. It's a deep compulsion. You're always trying to keep yourself in control. Otherwise, you offend others who don't understand you. The challenge, surround yourself with ones who support your individuality. And that is what the card says. But what's so cool is he gives you the light pulse. So those of you that know music, you can put this to actually a formation. And as I was saying, there's times, there's a whole experience where I was just a living note. I mean, the whole society was just notes. And we went into, and I've said this many times before, we went into musical instrument bags, or not bags, but cases. That's what our houses was made like. And all this communication, music. I mean, if you was that and you looked at how you would not see the difference. Like if you was able to experience that and be alive with that, and even knowing this, you wouldn't see the difference of being that. You really, just the way it was set up, the life was set up, it was the same. It was you was a musical note instead of a person. I mean, I know that's hard to make people who really understand, but it was a whole society. And when you went into your musical instrument home, the communication like we have as a social organization was the same. But yet we came together and also did music. So we can be so much more than what they show us, I guess is the point. We can be so much more than the way they show us this one way. There's a lot of ways. And that is like, they say different dimensions. It ain't got to be all that. I mean, you ain't got to be all that to experience that. It's around us. And it's really like plugging in. That's what you really have to find out, because who your family is and who your people are, all that DNA is encoded in you. And so it's there, and you really have to crack it open. That's knowing, that's really, when they say enlightenment, that's what the enlightenment is that everything that came before you, you're able to use it in you. That's what they scared of. They talking about the bloodlines. They want them wicked stuff. I mean, these people that's getting praised to be wicked. So that's what they keep. They keep a line of wickedness together. Because they know when they become with people that ain't wicked, it starts changing. It changes the generation. They want the curse to stay on. Those of you know that, family curses, some people want that shit. They want they turn at it. Some people see the shit, the wicked shit when they children and say this shit is here. And maybe some other people don't use it. It be people in that shit that want to do that. And they see from a young age that they can do wicked stuff. They pick up on it. By the time they're adults, they master. So, all right, gonna send everybody, gonna send everybody the where, the where man, the transformation, because all of us can transform to anything we want. We transform every night. So send that out. This is, I call him Shorty. See that? Take away that reptilian. And really, you can configure yourself. When you think of your spiritual self, the Matrix, as he showed him, he's like, well, this is how you conceptualize yourself. Remember when he first showed him the Matrix? He's like, this is what you think you look like. So you can take that reptilian stuff and break that down. You ain't got to look like that. So, ASD, looks like Miami going to win it all. No. I got to cap it. I say I received it. I love that book. All right. Yeah, I got to go. So let me give more. And it is sad, I'm sorry, I'm sad. And like last night, it was just, hadn't slept in a couple days. And if I did come on Wednesday, they didn't have school today. It's funny. I was leaving after I dropped her off yesterday morning. I was like, damn, they got a main broke. Because, I used to work for the water department. So they got a main that broke, water main. I drove by. I'm like, they got a water main break. Because I, again, work for the water department, so I know it. And so they canceled school from today. So that's why I didn't do an earlier show. But last night, I had all that enthusiasm in the morning, but everything I've been going through kind of hit last night. And with my son, and so I kind of had to see about him, and that had a emotional, aspect to it. So by the time after being in the hospital 4 or 5 hours, talking to a lot of people, I sat here and I really thought I still had energy, and I was just so drained. I was so drained. I had nothing to give. So please forgive me. And that's why I kind of announced, because I do try to keep consistent with bringing it. This is my energy, my time. I understand that. I accept it, And so that's kind of what's going on. And it's still gotta still pay attention to all of it. That's kind of how this reality hits you. That's why it always says, when I say more, and I live more. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. Now, this part there, being a civilization builder, it is really an amazing kind of thing. I mean, it's not like the movie changing when you do it. It's not like that. It is almost, as I said before, we go in the cave, we come back out as full civilization. Okay, but then again, just because everything is activated, there's still a way to organize and give these new beings an organization. Now, what they teach you is there's always got to be a kingship and that kind of thing. Yeah, that's later. That is not the job of the civilization builders. The civilization build shows cooperation. It shows that if you work with all nature, and actually, if you really think of Atlantis and all that other stuff, think of Lemuria. One thing you learn of Lemuria is everything worked together. You heard the trees, you heard the grass. We are in tune with everything. We didn't pay as much attention to the stars because we paid more attention to what we lived on and what we worked with on Earth. And we were in tune with everything. When I talk about, the time of the trees, it was totally that. Civilization building. the Lemuria kind of idea. And it ain't, and they want to call that, socialism. But it's not that. When you work with nature and the people work for the good of all, that is possible. I mean, one thing they don't tell you about South America is they did not know the difference between where the rich and the poor lived, where the kings and the nobles lived, because they all lived with each other. As the Spanish came from town to town, that's what they noticed. Even as they went into modern day Mexico City, to Continental, whatever it's called, I'm sorry. They saw the same thing. They saw the same thing. Montezuma didn't live any different than where his people lived. Yes, they had places where they went to do government business, but they didn't live there. When they murdered the 5,000 nobles, they had to bring them to a halt. All these people didn't live up in these places. They lived amongst the people. That's what they saw. All of South America, Mexico, you couldn't tell the difference. They had never been in a place like that, where the rulers lived amongst the common people. That's why the Catholics came in and said, no, we've got to have this hierarchy, this class system, caste system, civilization building. The civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the universe. And that's what we don't have the ability to do, is how to see what this is. That's why when you hear people talk about flat plane, they ain't leaving their body. And it's from a flat plane perspective, I want to hear these spiritual flat plane people tell me it's easy to move out of that. It ain't, because I've tried it. I've experienced flat plane. A lot of illusion. Not going to source. It is a whole separate thing. It's like that mirror shit. That's why I tell when they talk about working with that mirror, that's that. That is that. That is not. And as I said before, they do not want to recognize the mirror world amongst that. That is something that they do not want to tell you that has to exist in that. They want to tell you it's flat, and they got to accept that mirror life. They don't want to tell you that because it's illusion. It's illusion. There's no way to get out of that. So for the people that's staring you into that, and again, I'm going to say that Totaria mud flood stuff, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. That's a waste of time. It is taking you somewhere that's going to waste your time. That is not an answer. They making that shit up as it's going. And it's racist in its essence. It's racist in its essence. It's Aryan. It's another way to try to make them ancient. It is nothing more than that. So don't waste your time with that. And as you deal with people, remember I am another yourself. And rest well as you lay in your creation ball field, or as you call your bed. Know that you are with this creation as you rest there, as you go into your dream screen, as you lay there, and everything that you've created, you've put there. You've had to put there. Whatever it is, whatever's around you, you put it there. Know that it will protect you because you put it there with the right intention. So it doesn't matter what it is, what you put there is right. It is for you. It is for your protection. You ain't got to really have special things. I ain't selling crystals. Whatever you put around you is enough for you, especially tonight. It is enough for you, and it will protect you. And that is the only intention you have to have, is that you put it there, and it works with you because you put it there, and you loved it because you put it around you. Because why would you put things around you that you did not love, or you did not show an interest? Colors, patterns, whatever is around you, know that can protect you because you put it there, and you put it there with the right intention. And that is enough. That is enough because you put it there. You are the protector. You put that shield up. You have these other things, you learn how to work for them, they will work. But what you've put there is enough. So rest well knowing that it is enough, and have that attitude that what I have will protect me. I will not be affected. Whatever you think, but your dream screen, your dream screen you'll be protected as you rest. And as you work, may the safety go with you to the end of your day. May you go to home safe. And we all definitely send that energy. Those of you who have to work this time, may you go home. May the rest of your time be safe. When you go home, may that travel be safe. And as you rest in the period you have to rest, may that time be safe too. And so we all send energy of positive ideas and positive love to everyone. And as I close, remember, love just is. You can't put anything else on it. You can't expect anything from it. It is there. And if it's there, you have to plug into it. And that's it. Be the best you. Be the best you. If you plug into love, just be the best you. You know, if it's really love, be the best you. Embrace it. Because love is. And if it's not that, then it's not that. And, you know, deal with that how you deal with it. Well, this is the Crouch Mountain Show. I am your super funky host, Big Pontiac. I'm picking up my daughter in the rain tomorrow. Got a little running around to do. So we'll be doing that. Yeah, I should be responsible daddy hour. I'll be honest. These nights is gonna be hard to predict. Can't say. I really can't say that I can be consistent because I don't know. Things are kind of. Today was a good day. We'll see. Hopefully tomorrow will be a good day. I can't say at this point that I know. I can't. Afternoons, I'll probably be able to do for sure because I'm picking up my daughter. But hopefully, I will be back tomorrow night. Yeah. And so, till we meet again, say less.